And with Donald Trump really not engaged yet in the government shutdown at all, he is in the Middle East as I record this, essentially, or on his way to the Middle East, getting ready for a victory lap. And frankly, it's a victory lap he deserves on this one, because, you know, when you look at his style of diplomacy, it's not a good style of diplomacy to deal with the Europeans. It is not a good style of diplomacy to deal with Southeast Asia, China, East Asia, you name it. Not a good way. Maybe you could argue his style works sort of kind of with the Indians, but that so far has been a bit problematic. The one place where his style of diplomacy, I think, can work is in the Middle East. He's transactional, where many other an American president wouldn't feel comfortable sort of doing the kind of sleazy financial deals that are being done with the Gulf states right now that get them engaged in helping to pay for the rebuild of Gaza, get them engaged with working with Israel. And if the Trumps make a couple of bucks off of it, what does Donald Trump care in all of this, right? That it is this sort of scratch my back, scratch your back kind of mindset. It's unethical. It's something that I think we're not comfortable our government doing, but it's going to get the job done. In some ways, because there are no rules in the Middle East at times, I think that's why you're seeing this style where 90% of the time it's ineffective. But in this case, it's an effective way to go. I don't know if another American president could have bullied Netanyahu into taking this deal. He did not want to take any deal because his right flank wasn't going to accept any deal. Any deal that stopped this war clearly wasn't going to be acceptable to the far right. One thing Donald Trump wanted was a victory, right? He wanted to take the win. And it's an interesting parallel because it was interesting when they announced the deal, Hamas accepted, but not quite on the terms that Israel wanted. Trump went ahead and said, great job, Hamas. Glad you took this deal. And it left Netanyahu completely naked, right? He yanked the rug. Bibi did not want to say that Hamas agreed to those terms. He wanted to continue to press forward. And Trump essentially told him, no, you're not going to do it. Take the win and move on. Now, of course, the question is going to be whether politically Bibi can survive without having the threat of war, right? Netanyahu's entire political career has been about playing off of fear of Iran, fear of Hamas, fear of Hezbollah, but it's always been fear. In some ways, he's had, the last 2 years, incredibly successful dealing with Iran, dealing with Lebanon and Hezbollah. Essentially has kneecapped Hezbollah completely. Even the Houthis are laying off. You're seeing diplomatic ties being forged with many a Gulf state. And with all of those fear factors off the table, it is likely going to mean that this is probably the beginning of the end of Bibi Netanyahu's political career. Does he have another 6 months? Does he stretch this a year? We'll see. I told you about that poll last week that showed 2/3 of Israeli voters believe he should resign. About 2/3 of those wanted him to resign immediately. Another third were willing to wait till the war is over. Well, the war is essentially on its way to being over. So we are now up to 2/3 of Israelis believe he needs to take responsibility that it was on his watch that an exposed Israel got attacked by Hamas. And all of it, it was strange. Much of the military strategy that Bibi signed off on dealing with Iran, the Houthis, or Hezbollah were all really smart and savvy. He never listened to his military advisors on how to deal with Gaza and Hamas, which is arguably why it was so brutal, why it was so terrible, why it was so poorly thought out, and why it has made Israel among the most isolated nations in the free world. And that's sad. It's just sad. I'm very sad about the fact that Israel is so isolated. I'm relieved that many of the threats are gone. But how you conduct yourself over time has a huge impact long term. And we're going to see what kind of long-term penalty Israel is going to have to pay for the horrendous way that Bibi and his team conducted the war in Gaza. Everywhere else was much more precision, efficiency, sort of the way the Israelis had been in some ways admired by militaries around the world for their savvy and their strategy. Nobody was admiring what they were doing in Gaza. There was nothing like that. And in some ways that was driven by just a far right fringe that was keeping Bibi in power. There's a reason results matter more than promises. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan has become America's largest injury law firm. For the last 35 years, they've recovered $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients. It includes cases where insurance companies offered next to nothing, short of shortchanging, seeing if they could get away with it. And Morgan & Morgan fought back, and they won millions. In Pennsylvania, one client was awarded $26 million. It was a staggering 40 times the amount that the insurance company originally offered. That offer, $650,000, whatever it took to sort of get away without paying. So with more than 1,000 lawyers across the country, Morgan & Morgan knows how to deliver for everyday people. So if you're injured, you're looking for a lawyer, check out forthepeople.com/ToddCast or dial pound law, pound 529 on your cell phone. And remember, all law firms are not the same. So give Morgan & Morgan a look. Their fee is free unless they win.